Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. So I just did a video a few days ago on Corey Black, talking about the 7th round pick cornerback out of Oklahoma State, who I believe was more than just a 7th round pick. He had a 5th round grade on him, and I really think that he'll be able to not only make the team, but get into the rotation. And in the comments section of that video, somebody had said, you need to check out O'Donnell Fortune at UDFA that we picked up. And I already knew about O'Donnell Fortune because I watched a few different South Carolina games. And yes, he popped. He jumped off the screen a little bit. He made some plays. I was surprised when we did sign him as a UDFA because I figured he would have been drafted. And the funny thing is, I knew more about O'Donnell Fortune than I did Corey Black, the draft pick. So I'm very, very excited to talk about this guy, and I'm very, very excited to see that we were able to get him as a UDFA because I believe he probably had a couple of suitors but came to the New York Giants. So right off the bat, let's get right into some of the details. 6'1", 185 pounds. Again, just like Corey Black, you have the ideal height. You know, but one thing about O'Donnell Fortune is I love the temperament. I love the temperament. We saw it at the Shrine Bowl. He is a trash talker. And for me personally, I love cornerbacks that are trash talkers. He ended up being the defensive MVP for the Shrine Bowl. You know, more accolades, the more the better. He also had honorable mention for the all SEC team. So here we go. We got a guy that can hoop, right? A guy that can play ball for real. And I'm just like, what are the weaknesses? What's going on with O'Donnell Fortune? So I'm going through some of the profiles, some of the breakdowns, and I'm looking at the 40-yard dash, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see it. So 6'1", 185 pounds, but he ran a 4.58 40. And I'm sitting back, okay, that's probably what dropped him. You don't want your cornerback running a 4.58, understandably so. Now, when it comes to the New York Giants, what does Shane Bowen like to do? Shane Bowen likes to run zone on the back end, and that happens to be just one of the stronger suits for O'Donnell Fortune. So let's start talking about some of these notes that we have for O'Donnell Fortune. So just like I said in Corey Black's video, he said you rarely see a 7th round pick that has a score overall grade in the 70s. Well, I look at O'Donnell Fortune as a UDFA, and his overall grade was an 86.0. Wait a minute. 86.0 was his grade for 2024. And then what else do I say? I like to see constant progression, you know, in a college career. So in 2022, he was in the 78.8. In 2023, he dropped down to a 68.1, but in 2024, this past year, he was in 86.0. And that's crazy to me. A guy that's grading that high, that defense, that was a good defense. South Carolina had a very good defense. A lot of guys got drafted from that defense. But he also got honorable mention for all SEC. So he's not just a guy living off of, you know, the strength of the rest of the defense. He has his own accolades. And then I'm looking seven interceptions for his career. I'm like, okay, so let me just dig into some of these other grades. So his coverage grade is a 90.2. Wait, what's going on here? Are there some off the field issues happening? Are there some injury concerns happening? And when I'm reading, nothing's really standing out as far as injuries go. Yes, he left a few games with some leg injuries, but he didn't miss a game. So run defense of 54.0. Okay, he's a cornerback. I understand that. But dig these next two numbers. Man coverage a 79.5, zone coverage a 87.5. So I already know why we targeted this guy. Shane Bowen likes to run that zone defense on the back end, but he also likes, you know, some versatility back there as well. So for me, O'Donnell Fortune, is it almost like another steal that we have at cornerback? Now, when I look at this cornerback room, I did it in the Corey Black video. Okay, you got Flat, who's coming up on a contract year. Depending on how he does, we might bring him back, we might not. These guys might be the replacements for guys that are not going to get re-signed, or in case somebody goes down, these guys really have a chance. Both O'Donnell Fortune and Corey Black have a chance to not only make the team, but also be in that rotation. And when I'm looking at the versatility of O'Donnell Fortune, more than Corey Black, is this. O'Donnell Fortune, you know, I think he was recruited as a safety, then moved to the cornerback position. That could be the reason why he has a 4.58 instead of like a 4.4 or 4.3 that you want your cornerbacks to have, because he came in as a safety, switched to cornerback, but also has some versatility covering guys in the slot. So now it's all coming to me. It all makes a lot of sense. When you get to the back end of that depth chart, the more positions you can play as a secondary, as a DB, the more valuable you are. So you got a guy in O'Donnell Fortune who can play a boundary corner, who can play the slot, who can possibly play a safety as well in certain occasions in a pinch. Why not add him to the team? Now, again, we're talking about it's May right now. You got to get through rookie mini camp. You got to get through OTAs. You got to get through the training camp. You got to get through preseason. It's a lot more, he has to prove himself over the next few months. But just thinking about where he came from, the accolades that he has, the grades that he has, there's a good chance this guy makes the team. So another thing that I saw, because again, I went into a deep dive. I looked at some of these player comps for him, and the number one player comp that I saw, I believe this was off of Draft Buzz, was Paulson Adebo. And I'm like, you know what? This is now getting comical. This is getting funny. So the guy that we picked up, who's going to be our cornerback one, and Paulson Adebo, O'Donnell Fortune's comp, and I think it was like a 77%, relativity comp is Paulson Adebo. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what happened to Joe Shane. Actually, I do know what happened to Joe Shane. His livelihood was on the line. His money was on the line. The bag was on the line. And guess what? He woke up and started drafting better and went out and signed some UDFAs, because he's not the only UDFA that probably will make this team. There's some other UDFAs, especially in the wide receiver room, that's going to make this thing. But I just want to talk about some of the strengths, right? So strong in zone coverage. But they had him listed as like okay in man because, his press wasn't that strong. But how do you have how can they complain about your press coverage, but your man coverage grade is still a 79.5? He has good ball skills. They said back in like 2022, there's a clip on YouTube, he had a 100-yard interception against Notre Dame. I'm like, listen, the number one thing that I like is you're getting bigger corners. Now, he might not weigh 200 pounds, 185, that's close to 190. That's ideal size. 6'1", 190, that's ideal size. I'm thinking about this division, just like I did in the Corey Black video, is you want these bigger corners, bigger, faster corners. This guy's not the fastest, not fast at all when it comes to cornerback standards. But man, I look at how he plays in zone coverage. Very smart, reads the quarterback very well. And when you have that ball IQ, football IQ, it kind of helps with your deficiencies when it comes to speed. Now, cornerback is like if he gets beat deep, I don't expect him to catch anybody. Once you get a step on him, you're probably taking it to the house. But what he does prior to that is something that I think is very, very special. A very, very special technique that he has. But man, I'm just looking at my notes here, and I'm thinking about, this guy and what he can bring to the table. It's going to be a very, very competitive OTAs and training camp, especially with these guys like when I look at Trey Hawkins, I look at Cordell Flott, and now I'm looking at O'Donnell Fortune, and I'm looking at Corey Black. These guys are going to be going blow for blow. Because for me, outside of Paulson Adebo and Tay Banks, and even Tay Banks, he got a lot to prove. Somebody could steal some jobs here, and I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. But that's going to be my video on UDFA O'Donnell Fortune. Best of luck to you, O'Donnell. If you get a chance to watch this video, I don't know if you got a nickname. I'm going to call you OD probably, because O'Donnell is O'Donnell. I respect the name, but that's a lot. That's a lot. But OD, I'm going to call you OD. So, yeah, I really like this pickup as a UDFA. I really do believe he has a chance to make this team, and we'll see what happens in training camp. But definitely a guy I'm going to be rooting for. I'm a sucker for, the taller, physical cornerbacks, especially guys that talk trash and can back it up. O'Donnell Fortune is that he falls into that category, and yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm very, very excited for that. So make sure you guys tuning in. You've been listening to this whole video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.